Things are changing faster than anyone expected. 10 European countries are in deep trouble, their economies on the verge of collapsing by 2025. We see it everywhere, empty factories, people protesting in the streets. It's impossible to ignore. Get ready, everyone, as we take a quick trip across Europe to see how this continent might be heading for a downfall, much like the Roman Empire, but with fewer togas and a lot more tweets. Our first stop on this journey is Belarus, a country nestled in Eastern Europe, bordered by Russia to the east, Ukraine to the south, Poland to the west, and Lithuania and Latvia to the north. A country that's about as welcome on the world stage as a vegetarian at a barbecue. Despite its rich history and cultural heritage, Belarus has found itself increasingly isolated from the international community. The international community has placed many sanctions on Belarus because of its government's questionable leadership and their disregard for human rights. These sanctions have had a profound impact on the country's economy and its people. The streets of Belarus have often been filled with the voices of protesters, demanding change and justice. The government's response has been swift and brutal, with riot police clashing with demonstrators, leading to numerous arrests and reports of human rights abuses. This makes Belarus very isolated. The closed borders and empty streets paint a picture of a nation cut off from the rest of the world, struggling to find its place in the global community. Protests against the government are very common. These demonstrations are a testament to the resilience and courage of the Belarusian people, who continue to fight for their rights despite the risks involved. Their currency is incredibly unstable, with the Belarusian ruble experiencing significant devaluation over the years. This economic instability has made life difficult for ordinary citizens who struggle to make ends meet, and no one wants to invest in their economy anymore. The lack of foreign investment has led to the closure of many businesses and industries, leaving behind abandoned industrial areas and empty supermarkets. Belarus might not be the first country you think of when you think of Europe's economic powerhouses, but their potential collapse shows that in today's interconnected world, the fate of one nation can have far-reaching consequences. When one thing goes wrong, everyone feels it. The economic and political instability in Belarus serves as a stark reminder of how interconnected our world has become. When one thing goes wrong, everyone feels it. The ripple effects of Belarus's struggles are felt far beyond its borders, impacting global markets, international relations, and the lives of people around the world. Now we turn to Ukraine, a country facing a terrible war. The conflict has not only devastated the land, but also the lives of millions of its citizens. The once bustling cities are now echoes of their former selves, with streets that were once filled with laughter and life now lying in ruins. Imagine trying to manage your money while your neighbor's house is on fire, and the flames are threatening to spread to your own home. The chaos and uncertainty make it nearly impossible to focus on anything else. This is the harsh reality for many Ukrainians today, and they keep throwing dangerous things at yours. The constant threat of violence and destruction looms over every decision, every moment. Families are torn apart, and the sense of normalcy is a distant memory. That's what it's like for Ukraine. The resilience of its people is tested daily as they navigate through the wreckage of their lives, holding on to hope and each other. Millions of people have had to leave their homes with very little, carrying the heavy burden of uncertainty. They travel to unknown destinations, seeking safety and a chance to rebuild their lives from scratch. The refugee crisis is one of the most heart-wrenching aspects of this war. The war's impact on the economy is huge, and things are expected to get much worse for Ukraine's economy. Businesses that once thrived are now closed, and the financial stability of the nation is in jeopardy. The economic decline is a stark reminder of the far-reaching consequences of conflict. The Ukrainian people, with help from other countries, are fighting back, not just for their land, but for their survival. International aid and support have been crucial in providing the necessary resources to withstand the onslaught. The global community's solidarity offers a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness. But the road to recovery will be long and difficult. Rebuilding a nation from the ashes of war requires immense effort, time, and unwavering determination. The spirit of the Ukrainian people, however, remains unbroken. They continue to strive for a future where peace and prosperity can once again flourish. Let's move on to Romania, a country whose economy is as shaky as a tower of blocks built by a hyperactive squirrel. Romania relies heavily on money from other countries, like that friend who always forgets their wallet. This makes Romania vulnerable to changes in the global economy. Rising interest rates and a global economic slowdown have put Romania on the brink of a massive debt crisis. Romania urgently needs to fix its finances or risk becoming an example of the dangers of borrowing too much. Next, we're in Poland, a country caught between the EU and, well, let's just say others. Poland's increasingly difficult relationship with the EU over issues like judicial independence and LGBTQ+ rights has made things awkward. The Polish economy, once a success story, is facing serious challenges. The situation is made worse by the refugee crisis on Poland's border with Belarus. Poland has to decide whether to strengthen its ties with the EU or go its own way, which could be risky. Get ready, because we're about to discuss Hungary, a country that's been twisting and turning in its relationship with the EU. This small but significant nation in Central Europe has been at the center of numerous political debates and controversies over the past decade. Hungary's journey within the European Union has been anything but smooth, marked by a series of conflicts and disagreements that have strained its ties with the rest of the bloc. Hungary, led by Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, is trying to change the country according to his vision, which clashes with the EU's values of democracy, lawfulness and human rights. Orbán's government has been accused of undermining judicial independence, restricting media freedom and curbing the rights of civil society organizations. These actions have not gone unnoticed by the EU, which has repeatedly called on Hungary to adhere to the principles and values that all member states are expected to uphold. This disagreement has led to the EU imposing sanctions on Hungary, cutting off important funding and hurting the Hungarian economy. The sanctions are part of the EU's effort to pressure Hungary into making changes that align with the bloc's standards. However, the Hungarian government has remained defiant, arguing that its policies are a matter of national sovereignty and that the EU is overstepping its bounds. To make matters worse, Hungary's close relationship with Russia, a country that's very unpopular in Europe right now, has created more distance between Hungary and the EU. Orbán has maintained a friendly rapport with Russian President Vladimir Putin, which has raised eyebrows in Brussels and other European capitals. This relationship is particularly controversial given the ongoing tensions between the EU and Russia over issues such as Ukraine and energy security. It's unclear whether Hungary can keep this up, but it's going to be a rough ride. The economic impact of the EU's sanctions is already being felt by ordinary Hungarians, and the political isolation could have long-term consequences for the country's future within the EU. As Hungary navigates this turbulent period, the question remains, will it find a way to reconcile its national interests with the broader goals of the European Union, or will it continue down a path of increasing estrangement? Now we arrive in Germany, the economic heart of Europe, the reliable one that everyone depends on. Remember the energy shortages we talked about. Germany is really feeling the impact because it relied heavily on Russian gas, which is no longer reliable. This energy crisis has severely hurt the German economy, especially its industrial sector. As if that wasn't enough, Germany is also dealing with a growing refugee crisis, a result of its welcoming policy towards those escaping conflict. Germany, the economic powerhouse, is facing a critical moment. Hello from France, a country known for romance, delicious food, and a history of social unrest. France has a long history of revolutions, of people taking to the streets to demand change, and right now things are very tense. The cost of living in France is increasing rapidly while wages are not keeping up. This social unrest is putting a lot of pressure on the French economy, which is very unstable. France needs to choose between addressing its people's concerns or risking a complete social and economic collapse. Greetings from Spain, a country famous for its sunshine, beaches and relaxed attitude towards work. Spain's economy relies heavily on tourism. Tourism is recovering slowly, but it's nowhere near pre-pandemic levels, which is hurting Spain's economy. Making matters worse, Spain has a very high youth unemployment rate, which is a big problem. Spain needs to diversify its economy quickly or risk becoming stuck in the past. Greetings from Greece, the birthplace of democracy, philosophy, and a debt crisis that shook the world economy a few years ago. Greece may have avoided a disastrous exit from the Eurozone, but its economic problems are far from over. Unemployment remains high, especially among young people who are leaving the country to find better opportunities. Greece has a demographic problem, with an aging population and a shrinking workforce. Greece needs to make big changes to revive its economy and secure its future. Hello from Italy, the land of pizza, pasta, and a serious problem with debt. Italy's economy has been stagnant for years, burdened by slow growth, high unemployment, and excessive bureaucracy. Adding to the turmoil is Italy's unstable political system, with governments changing constantly. This political deadlock makes it almost impossible to implement the necessary changes to fix Italy's economy. Unless Italy can control its debt and stabilize its politics, it risks becoming the sick man of Europe once again. So there you have it, a quick look at Europe's potential collapse, a continent facing challenges that threaten to tear it apart. From the war-torn streets of Ukraine to the debt-ridden squares of Italy, the signs are clear. Europe is at a crossroads, needing to confront its problems or be consumed by them. Stay informed, stay prepared.